if anybody has any questions, I'd be glad to take them. Yep.
Yes, sir. I appreciate your success as a mayor. You've been good for San Antonio. And not only are you pro-education, you're pro-business. I believe our unemployment rate is not as high as the national average. You've done well. My question to you is, how high are your aspirations as a politician?
Yeah, and you know,
How high do you want to go? What is your goal, sir?
Page 57.
I just want to be biased, you know. When I first got interested in getting into politics when I was in college, and I actually got away from the city. And the reason, I think, is that I could see something different. When my brother and I went to college, it was the first time that we had ever really seen anything different. And the role that I looked forward to when I thought about politics was the role of mayor. Just to let you know, I mean, I'm the kind of person that when I read about, for instance, these lists of the fattest city or the sweatiest city or where the jobs are, or for instance, there was an article that either Forbes or Fortune had on the internet a couple of weeks ago, and it had the boom towns, the projected boom towns for the next 10 years. And we were number 4, which is great. Number 4. And then I saw that Austin was number 1. I get very competitive about this city because I really love the city. But I have told folks that I have up to 8 years in San Antonio, and I will be here for the 8 years. And as the time comes closer to 2017, if I've done a good job, if things have gone well, because I believe that you have to do a good job of what you have in front of you, that I'll look around and see what's possible. And so there may be something after this. It's hard for any Democrat in Texas, though. You know, one of the good things is that we're in a nonpartisan seat here in San Antonio. I think a lot of folks don't realize how far out on the edge we are. We have 29 statewide elected offices, and the count between Republicans and Democrats is 29-0. 29 Republicans, 0 Democrats. So, we'll see.
And just move into the governor's house?
Yeah. Here you go.
Thank you for coming this morning. Northside is a fantastic school district, and as you have been educated in San Antonio, I believe that the city of San Antonio and the educators in San Antonio are doing a fantastic job educating children to go to college and become successful people like yourself. And we have wonderful colleges and universities in Texas, and it would be one of them. But anyway, regardless, my question to you is, I'm concerned that people who graduate from college don't come back to San Antonio. And my question to you as the mayor of San Antonio is, how do you think you would facilitate the people to return to San Antonio and invest that brain power, which we as educators did a fantastic job of educating. Northside puts up great products, send them to college with some excellent universities, and then they go away.
Yeah.
So how do you think we can as a city address the brain power staying here to facilitate the development of our city?
Yeah, that is a great question. In fact, you know, when my brother and I were in college and then when we were in law school, first there weren't that many folks from San Antonio at that time at those places. And then of the folks who were there, many of them had no inclination toward returning home, which is a shame because we need folks back here. The first way that you accomplish that is that you have to expand the opportunity spectrum here in San Antonio. There's no, the best way to accomplish that is to have a panoply of options for people to come back to. They're not going to, you know, it's very unlikely that folks are going to come back here if they can make $40,000 more in Houston or in Los Angeles or Chicago or somewhere else, or, and this is the case many times, if the job opportunities just don't exist in their field, or there's just a very thin slice of those jobs in their field and they're really all taken up. When I was in law school, Harvard used to produce a book of all of the firms that were interviewing for employment on campus, and it was probably about 350 firms, and it was organized by state and city. And so, you know, for New York, there were the most pages. There was one page per law firm. LA had a lot, and in Texas, you know, Houston and Dallas had a decent number. Austin had some, and there were like 2 pages for San Antonio. And you can, and historically in our city, you can write that story for engineers, for accountants, for all types of professional jobs. That's really what has begun to change in the last few years in our city. And that's why we're trying to expand the opportunity spectrum. The economic development model that we've pursued, which is not just focused on call centers. You know, we need call centers, they're good jobs. I mean, they're jobs that are good for many folks, but we also need the higher end jobs for people who get educated in our community. And then secondly, we do need to enhance the link that we create between folks who go away from our community, who are from here, and trying to get them back. When I was working at City Hall just for a few months in between college and law school, after I was teaching after that semester. And one of the things that I proposed back then was that we amend the education partnership. Of course, everyone knows the education partnership that gives a scholarship to folks who go to school here in San Antonio for college, to allow folks to go outside, but they would be contingent on them doing two things. Hosting a career fair, being part of a career fair on their campus that would include information about San Antonio companies. So they would be trying to proselytize about San Antonio opportunities at campuses across the nation, and then also work with the businesses for them to get either paid or unpaid internships during 2 of the summers when they're away, so that you maintain that connection with San Antonio and hopefully put them into a pipeline of employment in these companies. And we've created a version of that called the Ambassadors Program that is still small, but I believe something like that, you know, a model that works with our business community and nonprofit sector, as well as our students who are going away, to draw them back. Then there's always the Mexican food. That helps. Any other questions back there?
How did you handle the paper ball incident?
What's that? I'm sorry.
How did you handle the paper ball incident?
The paper ball. Oh, the paper ball incident. You know, I think for a second I tried to figure out who had done it, and then I realized that I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to figure it out because, of course, none of them, y'all have seen that probably scenario a million times. Nobody's going to tell on each other in the moment. Maybe they'll tell you later. So I think I just kind of let it go, you know. But yeah, it was a real eye-opener for me, and very educational myself. I think I learned more from that experience than they learned from me as a brand new teacher. So I can't say that I was an expert teacher, but I did learn a lot. All right, maybe one more question? Yeah.
Did you start off in private school, sir, in elementary?
No, I went to 1 year of private school, which was the old St. Mary's downtown. My brother and I started off at Holscher, and then we went to Carvajal Elementary, and then for 1 year, the 5th grade, we were at St. Mary's. Then we went to Cafuea and then Jefferson. And then, of course, private school for colleges. But all right, y'all. Thank y'all very much for having me, and go get 'em.